At this point, we now want to talk about the vertical line test. We previously discussed how there can be problems that are not able to be written as a function. How do we quickly determine whether or not something has a function, whether it is a function, so to say? And the vertical line test says if a vertical line, meaning just one time, intersects the graph of an equation at more than 1 point, then the equation is not a function. The reasoning is, if you look at a vertical line, all the x values are the same. So if it intersects your graph at more than 1 point, it means you repeated an x value. So it fails the definition of a function not repeating domain values. So we have 3 examples here, and I want us to quickly decide whether these are functions or not. Looking at this first example, no matter what vertical line we pick passing through this parabolic shape, it will only ever intersect the graph at 1 point, which means this is a function. You might be wondering, well, what about horizontally? It hits at more than 1 point horizontally. That's a different test. That's the horizontal line test, and that determines whether or not your function will have an inverse, which is something we'll discuss at another time. Looking at this second example, if we pick just this one case, the graph intersects this vertical line at these 2 points, it immediately fails. It only needs to happen once, and it fails the test. This is not a function. In the last case, there's a lot going on with this graph, but no matter which vertical line you pick, it will only ever intersect the graph at 1 point. It might seem like when you have these lines going off to infinity and negative infinity that it's going to get vertical at some point. It never will. This arrow going down to the left and up and to the right means it will always continue in that direction, to the right or left. So it will never get vertical. It will only ever intersect at 1 point no matter what vertical line we pick. So we say this is a function. So now we have a quick way to determine whether or not we're dealing with a function.